Okay, so for number 12, it tells us that a coastal inlet experiences these semi-daily tides. And it says the average water level is 4 feet, and then a high tide of 10 feet occurs 6 hours after midnight, and then a low tide of -2 occurs 12 hours later. So the first part is to sketch it. So you want to start with the average water level at 4 feet. So the y-axis is your height in feet. The x-axis is your hours after midnight, and there's 24 of them, and that goes by increments of 2. So let's go here. So this is my average of 4 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. This is basically acting like the midline at y equals 4. So there's my first part. There's my midline. Next piece of information says that the high tide occurs at 10 feet, 6 hours after midnight. So here's 6, and I'm going to go to 10. So that's going to be my high tide right there. Then it says low tide of -2 feet, 12 hours later. So 12 hours later, 12 and 6 is 18. So -2 be down here. And there's my high, there's my low. So the graph is doing something like this, right? And then in the middle is right there, I believe. Where am I? Yeah, is that? Yeah, okay, so right about there. Oh, I put the dot in the wrong spot. There we go. It doesn't look symmetric. Sorry, that's a 16. Man, I think I need glasses. Okay, anyways, so this graph is doing this, then it's coming down here, then it's doing this, and then it's coming up there. Okay, that's your first move. Make sure you read the graph correctly. Okay, that's part A. Part B says, what's the amplitude? The amplitude is the distance from, so this is part A, the distance from the midline, which is y equals 4, to the high or the low spot. So you can just count. So 1, 2, 3. So that is 3 increments of 2. So that is what, 4. So that's going to be a high tide of absolute value of 6. So that's just 6 feet, right? That's our amplitude. And then part C says, well, what's an equation for this thing? Okay, so obviously it looks like a sine curve. So start with sine of x. It's not inverted, nothing like that. It's been shifted up 4 units. So you could either do a +4 there, or you could just write 4 plus sine of x. It doesn't matter. They're equivalent statements. Then we need an amplitude. Well, we know it's 6. So I'm going to say this is 4 plus 6 sine of x. Then we need the period. Well, the period is 24. So if I take 2 pi and divide it by 24, then I get pi over 12. So the period is pi over 12. So that goes here. So 4 plus 6 sine of, I'm going to say, pi over 12x. Now check that. If I factored this pi over 12 out, and I did 2 pi divided by pi over 12, notice I would get 24, which is the amplitude, or sorry, is the period that it takes this particular sine curve to complete one full cycle. So the right answer that we're looking for is this one right down here.